see, I don't need new gear, but always want new gear for sure. And I see, so Ron in the house, Simon, hello friend, how are you? Marco in the house, Einar, yes, it was a good show. Were you there? Let me know. Hello, Jason. So excited to have you all here. Okay, so here is the deal. What is, and if you have questions, if you have, if you want to ask if I saw anything specific, feel free to just put a Q in front of the question and it'll make its way into my queue. Super chats do take priority. So if you want to jump to the top of the queue, the glitches are back. The glitches are back. My internet has been acting really crazy well, ever since I got back from NAB. So I apologize if we are having glitches. Hopefully they're not too bad. That I even rebooted the router and everything, I rebooted the entirety of the system. So I do have some interesting, okay, so total side note before we get into NAB. I have some interesting things happening with my internet here in this newish location that I'm going to have to do some major troubleshooting on that I've never quite encountered before in all of my Wi-Fi, and I'm hardwired, of course. But anyway, we're going to have to deal with that. I can do a separate video on this if the glitches are too bad, but don't excite me too much as I've already spent way too much on gear. So I am not coming to you today, and this is a bit of a shift for those of you who have been around me for quite a while. And by the way, I have a bunch of stuff in the background because I'm over here like dealing with some pieces of my desk. Anyway, in the past, if you've been around me for many years, in the past, I have gone to NAB Show looking at doing live coverage, doing a lot of gear specific things. This year I went in with a bit of a different mission. One, I was there to build relationships with companies that I have already, as well as new companies that I wanted to really build on new relationships so that I have the tools, I have the information, I have the a deeper sense of what's going on behind the scenes in different companies who are in this video creation space. So I was really there to build relationships, but secondly, I was there to really understand kind of where this industry is going. If you haven't noticed, over the last, couple years, really year and a half, and even more specifically in the last 6 months, have really been doubling down on simplicity of tech. How can I get you a workflow that is ideal for your outcome? What are you trying to accomplish? Let's create a workflow and a systematic approach to your gear, your software, all of the tech, all of the tools that you're using so that it's simple, it's easy, and it's going to produce the best results for you to be able to then go out, create your videos, have an impact, and get the job done essentially, right? So that is, hello James, I'm so sorry we didn't get to hang out more. I feel like we got interrupted, and I did want to talk more to you, but we didn't get to as much. So I'm not actually, so let me kind of dive into, first of all, those of you who don't know what NAB is. NAB Show is the National Association of Broadcasters. Their tagline is where content comes to life. This has traditionally been the place for news stations, for broadcasters, for like traditional broadcasters to go to see what's coming up in terms of gear, systems, like production workflow, that kind of thing. So it is quite a lot from a show perspective. It's huge. It took about 13 to 15,000 steps per day that I was there. So it's massive. It fills multiple halls in the convention center at Las Vegas. And it was great to see you, Paul. I also wish I got to see you, more of you. But it is huge, and it has a lot of high tech, advanced, a whole bunch of like the crazy type of tech and gear. Like this thing was amazing, right? These are really rough clips. I haven't done any editing of the footage that I brought back, but that's what you see a lot of at NAB Show, which is the best of the best, the craziest tech, all of the cool things. But my job is really meant to sift through all of that so that what I'm doing is simplifying everything, like not giving you everything that is there, but really what is important to you, right? So that's kind of where that's kind of my job at a show like NAB Show, is to find the best of the best, but specific to you and what you're trying to accomplish, which is video to build your business, workflows that are simple, easy, and moving you in a direction of action rather than spending time just really kind of tinkering. I want you in action of doing the work that you're here to do. So that's kind of where I came from in this. During NAB Show, I hosted a panel, and it was called Gearing Up. So we were really talking about studio and on the go, on the fly gear, and really talking through whoops, hold on. Oh no, sorry. Hold on. There was another picture here. Had an amazing set of panelists that I was able to really curate some information around through all four of us. And that was a great session. Really enjoyed that. Okay. So let's talk about the yeah, right. My body quivers with excitement with all of those buttons. Totally. So here's the deal. There are three kind of trends that I noticed that are really in line with what my mission for you lately has been and where I'm going deep diving into in 2025. The first one is lights. So I actually went there with the intention of looking at a lot of lights. And I know a whole bunch of lights on the market. I wanted to see some new stuff. I wanted to see kind of like where you're coming from with a small low profile desire, right? So I have lights that are huge and big, and I love those. And when we build custom studios for our clients, like, Amy Porterfield, Michael Hyatt, et cetera, we use larger lights because the larger the light source is, the better light you get, the more even, the softer, et cetera. And I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of tutorials on this stuff in the near future, really understanding what you need to know. But that being said, at NAB Show, let me back up. The problem with lights on the market, even lights that I've recommended to you, the problem with lights is that they are built to be 4 to 5 feet away from you. And so you'll notice that when I kind of recommend a light, some of the lights that you're using in your own setups, if you've followed my bold video bundle, for example, and I've told you exactly what settings to place them at, exactly where to place them, et cetera, we have those lights on very, very low. Even my big lights are very, very low, even though they are about 4 to 5 feet away. The bigger the light, like it can shine pretty bright. It was interesting. Some of the lighting companies were doing displays where so this is a huge like convention hall, right? And they would like shine a light up all the way up at the rafters, all the way up at the ceiling, and you could see like the power of these lights. Even, kind of consumer companies like Godox. I think this was the company that was doing this, but they were using the rafters way, 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 way high above to show off the power of the lights. And so it really kind of put into perspective and reminded me of this problem that we face in in-home studios. And so that's kind of one of the things that I love kind of talking about for you is there is this issue with normal lights that are meant to be in studios, but now we have this home environment we have for many, many years, but the industry is just finally taking notice, that, we have a smaller room to work within. And I noticed that, the industry is finally taking notice and kind of more working towards lower profile, lower profile while still getting good coverage. That's always been kind of the balance that you have to face, which is the low profile, but balanced of actually getting kind of good coverage, because low profile has traditionally meant low output. That game is changing, not just with this Amaran, the Pano 60C. This is a 60 watt, light, and you can kind of see it is fairly. This has a little soft box on it. The actual light is super, super thin. But yeah, so the game is changing, and I also I've noticed that, hold on. What? Oh, sorry. Hold on just a second. I'm like, that's not what I was. So newer actually has this one. This is actually not new, but this is a super interesting light to me that I'm really, really interested in. You can see the ring light, but this particular light is actually bigger. It's like filled in, right? It's a ring light, but filled in. And so this is like, you can see how low profile that is. This is kind of where the industry is moving, generally speaking, is how do we get something in terms of lights specifically? How do we get, good coverage, low profile that still works in an environment like a 10 by 10 room, for example. So I'm really, really excited about about the trends that I'm seeing and where the industry is moving, because it's going to be directly related and impact you as a home studio. So that is very, very good. Austin says, yay for low profile. Yes, exactly. Don't have any room for big fancy light. I like my Elgato light. The form factor is perfect. Yeah. But a lot of people have trouble with the Elgato key lights because, again, they're meant, if you're putting them on your desk, they're actually meant to be placed further away. Really. Elgato wouldn't say that. But the output, the wattage, the output, the type of light, those are really meant to be placed further away from you. And so we're kind of in this like zone of riding the line between what things have traditionally been meant for and how we're using them right now. So that's kind of where we are in that zone, just kind of like ready to progress is what I'm feeling. And I can't talk about some of the things that I know are coming down the pipeline in different areas of the lighting, cameras, all of the different gear. I did have some great conversations with some companies, and I'm incredibly excited about what's to come. I can't tell you what's to come exactly, but I will be getting certain things in my hands very soon so that I can shop. But I will tell you this. the things that are coming down the pipeline are going to make your workflow from a gear perspective um, better. So much better. So much better. Okay, I'll stop teasing you. All right, let's see. I agree. I have them at like 4% and they're still bright. Yes. So a lot of people have trouble with those particular ones, even at 4%, still getting hotspots, right? So this is we're almost there. We're almost there in terms of jumping over the line so that it's actually built for the things that we're getting in our hands are built for the right use cases and low profile and all of the right things. From somebody who takes down and set up box lights a million bajillion at times during a shoot, I need the low profile with a good battery. Yeah. So K and J, you actually might be interested in, I think, what you should be paying attention to, and I did not pull some of this footage, but companies like Aperture's new Cobb light. Let's see, Newer has one as well. Those were the two companies. I believe there's another company. Nanlite. So Nanlite, Aperture, and Newer all showed off small baby Cobb lights at 60 watts. I believe they were all 60 watts if I remember correctly. And so these are like, so Cobb light is the type of light that I use in my studio. So if you've ever seen a behind the scenes video of my studio, that big light, it's called a Cobb light. But essentially it's meant for really good light, really soft light with, depending on what kind of like frame you put on it. But every time I walked into one of those booths that were showing off the smaller Cobb lights at 60 watts, they were super cute. I just wanted to take them home. They were so cute. So K and J, I think that if you're, but the whole purpose of, because what you were saying was you need like something, because you're kind of in, you're on the go or in mobile locations, remote locations. So you need a good battery, you need low profile. They're meant to hand hold. So then you get so it's a little small box, a little small Cobb, and then you have a small soft box on top of it. They're also showing off these little domes, and I did not pull one of the examples, but if you reach out to me on social, I can find I have a picture of them. They have these little like domes that go on the light. It's just a white little filtered light or the fixture that softens the output. So that is actually something that I think you should pay attention to specifically, because they're meant to be handheld and kind of, you can just like, they're not heavy, they've got great batteries, and you can kind of use them in mobile productions like what you're doing. So yeah, my goal is always filming a beach in Tahiti. I'm right there with you, Mike. I'm going to be going back to Cabo this year. Well, that just reminded me of that for some reason, so I'm just saying it. I have no purpose in saying, but Cabo Press, I will be speaking there again in Cabo. So that's exciting. Yes. Okay. I can't give dates on this, but this is something that they have been kind of teasing. But it is, I think I can say real. Yeah, larger prompter, Elgato is working on. Now I will say this, it's not going to be for everybody. That is, when I get my hands on it, I will tell you the smaller one is for you, the larger one is for you. They weren't showing it off, but we did have conversations about it, and they did say I could talk about it because they had shown it somewhere else, or it had been like kind of in the background of something. But so I'm not breaking embargo here, but it is something that they've got, and I think it'll be I don't know if I can give specs. That's the only thing. So I won't say kind of like the size, but it definitely won't be for everybody. And it won't be something they didn't say this, but I'm saying it. It won't be something that you can just mount to your camera. Like, that's not going to happen in this particular case. So it is something that's I'm very excited about getting my hands on to see, what the right use case is for it. It's going to be in line with other like more traditional prompters, but is going to be in line with what they have existing already. So it's going to be merging current and kind of a traditional prompter. That's really interesting. Super, super interesting. I will say also, they're crazy for pricing it at what they're going to price it at. I don't know if I can say that either. So I'm going to hold back certain information because I don't know what is what, but I do know I can kind of say that it is there. But their price point for it that they've told me, y'all, they've got something wrong with them. They've got something wrong with them. I'm just saying. Yeah. Oh, weren't they, Paul? Didn't you like those? I really like that. Correct. Cobb chip on board. Yeah. They were so cute. I just wanted to hold him and then I carried him around, and I don't do like that kind of shooting, but I really wanted one. Yes, you can set them up on a tripod. Absolutely. But they're going to be, oh yeah, for solo film, I think that for your specific use case, I think that you would really, really love them for sure. Okay. So let me kind of get back into, oh, okay. Did we say, okay, they have said the size. Okay. So, oh, never mind. I'm gonna move on. Okay, so okay, let's talk about, that's lights. And if you have questions about anything else, feel free to just ask, put a Q in front of your question. Super chats take priority. The camera, in the camera category, or in the camera world, this is not the show for cameras that are in our world. Like literally Sony's display of our type of camera was, I had a hard time finding it. It was that small. So they had literally 3 cameras on display at the Sony booth that were prosumer. Prosumer meaning that we use in our in-home studios. Most of the cameras that were on display from Sony, from Panasonic, and everybody else were the Big Daddy ones, right? Now, I will say, I had some conversations with Sony, with Panasonic. So, okay, I was getting footage of, this is just a total squirrel moment, but this is a live show. We're all hanging out, so bear with me. I was hanging out at the Panasonic booth, just getting some B-roll for a specific video that we are planning. And because if you guys don't know, Panasonic is my early start. They hired me to host at the CES version of the booth. But that's where I really learned so much about doing live streaming, hosting live streaming, multitasking, dealing with tech issues, troubleshooting along the process. So I gained so much experience on the Panasonic booth at CES way back in the day. Anyway, I was hanging out. We were gathering some B-roll of the Panasonic booth, and one of the guys who works there was like, I know you, which happens all the time, especially at like events like this, right? Because I have such a long history in the tech space. But he was super excited to meet me. I was super excited to meet him. But he showed me some interesting cameras and technology behind the cameras that I'm not ready to talk about because I'm waiting to get some in my hands before I talk about that. So I'm gonna tease you a lot here today just because I can't talk about everything that I've seen. But Panasonic is working on some interesting technology that if I if it plays out the way I think it would be really, really interesting from an in-home video studio perspective that actually removes the need for capture cards. I said it. I said that. Removes the need for capture cards, and it's not USB. So I'm going to get those in my hands. I'm going to play with it first before I tell you about it in depth, just because I want to make sure that it works as expected in my head. But yeah, they are. So anyway, there's some interesting things happening in the camera space. Now, the other reason that I'm not telling you specifics about the Panasonic stuff, and I'm sure other companies have them as well, but is that hiccup is that the price point isn't there yet. So I'm seeing this as something that might be more relevant down the line as the industry collapses the tech. And I talked to him quite a bit about when this is actually going to be something that the prosumers like us in-home studios can get at a rate that makes sense for us. So that's not too far away. So I'm going to be really paying attention to that side of the market. Again, I don't think the price point is something that anybody here would want to pay for this technology. That's why I'm not really diving into it yet. But I think in a couple of years, 2, 3, 5 max, that that technology will be at a place that is really good for in-home studios. Panasonic rumor mill says new L-mount Cine camera will be announced May 13th, but not the S1H2 that I want from them. We'll have to keep an eye on it. The interesting thing is I'm now willing to, from NAB, the things that I saw, I'm willing to go beyond Sony. Maybe. And I say maybe only because I won't commit to anything from a show like that. I need to get them in my hands. I need to test them in real environments like we work within. Okay, so speaking of cameras, there's a new category. I will say there's like this almost new category of cameras that doesn't fit a webcam, but doesn't fit a prosumer camera like the Sony ZV-E10 that I recommend. It's kind of smack dab in the middle. So the idea here is that you could get some really good looking footage from a small camera that feels like acts as a webcam, but actually has the capabilities of the Sony ZV-E10. Specifically, what we're looking at here is the Mevo camera. Logitech bought them a few years ago, but you can see those in the corner there, right there in the front of the frame. These Mevo cameras can have interchangeable lenses. Now, this comes with software that is similar to not similar, like to Ecamm, but it's like a lower version of that. It doesn't have all of the complexity, but it does have the ability to switch cameras, add graphics to a certain extent, things like that. So this Mevo camera, I'm definitely keeping my eye on because it has some really interesting use cases. I don't think at the price point, which is $1,000 plus the lens, it's a little even higher once you add a lens to it, a little higher than the Sony ZV-E10 that you could get at, $800 to $1,200. Well, $800 for the body, with a lens, $1,200. So you're probably looking at a little higher of a price point for this Mevo camera. But what I find super interesting is the ease of control with things like brightness, the blurred background, the things that you care about. That has a bit of an easier UI a lot easier of a UI rather than changing the settings on the camera itself. So that camera, I'm getting in my hands very soon. I have I used to work with Mevo. Like, okay, so when the Mevo was first announced, the original Mevo was first announced, what, 2018, 2018. I did a collaborative live stream at NAB with the Mevo team. We had like 11 Mevo cameras all piping into the same stream, camera switching galore. It was an insane production. It was an awesome production. And so Mevo is not new to the scene by any means, and this specific camera is not new to the scene by any means. It's been around for at least 2 years, if not more. But with my focus on really providing you with simple workflows, there are some things about this particular camera that I'm really, really interested in. It's not the right camera for everybody or for every situation. But one thing that's actually really cool is that with that camera, you can actually store graphics on the camera itself. I have to dig into the details of all of that. But as I get that in my hands and start playing around with it, I can definitely see that there are very specific use cases for that camera. So you'll definitely be hearing more from me on that camera and the use case that it is uniquely set in the market to provide you with. So yeah, that one I think was the most, it's interesting because it's not a new camera, but when I got a hold of the details of it, and it's funny because I also had a press briefing about that camera a long time ago, but I just saw it from a new perspective this time. And I'm really, really excited about what it can provide. It actually looks really good with not that much lighting. All right, let's see. There was, I don't remember what this one was. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay. So this, let me come back to this. Let me set the stage first. So the third theme or trend that I'm seeing is one person controls. So is companies kind of looking at how can we have like an all-in-one setup, a setup that one person can control. And actually those cob lights, you can actually see an example in this. This is using one of those tiny cob lights. I believe this is the newer booth, but yeah. Is this a newer booth? Yeah, newer booth. So you can kind of see that. Let me turn an overlay off real quick so I have controls. So you can kind of see this cob light here. So this is the one I was referring to. It's so small. You can see that right there, that little box with the fan on it. And then you can put a dome on that, a soft box. But they're small, they're low profile. But this type of thing I was seeing a lot of at the show, which is one kind of setup that has everything that you need that could be controlled by a single person. So that is interesting. And I see questions. If you have questions, go ahead and put a Q in front of the question, make its way into my queue. I did not get footage of this, and I so meant to go back to this booth to get it, but I love their teleprompters. ICANN. Their prompters are one of my favorites from the ease of use perspective. I broke mine because I stepped on the LCD display when I was packing and moving. Yay me. But anyway, the ICANN booth is doing some R&D around this all-in-one setup that I found super fascinating. And I really wish I had gone back and got some footage of it. But I was in a hurry when I was getting the lowdown of this. So use case kind of thing that I keep talking about was in this R&D development, this research and development phase for ICANN. And it's this like, it's big, but it's kind of meant to have you be able to sit down, use AI, and this is what's other interesting thing about the NAB show as a whole is where AI is popping up into the production workflow. But this particular thing, you could sit down. It has a teleprompter, it has a light, it has the mic and all of the things. So an all-in-one kind of setup, and you could sit down and it would auto frame you, auto light you using AI technology to see the skin tone, the outside lighting, all of it. It would just kind of like do its own thing. Is it going to be perfect? Of course not. You do have access to manual controls for that. But then you would have these different kind of use cases that you could kind of say, I'm doing a Zoom call, or I'm doing this other thing, and it would be kind of like ready to go for you. Now we've already seen kits in the market and things like that you could get shipped to you and be ready to go in a little box. That exists already. But the level at which ICANN is testing this new technology was super, super fascinating. I'm super bummed that I did not get footage of that. I totally forgot to. Oh yeah, I've never had to deal with their customer support. That's good to know, though. I love that they're actually good at that. French Press says, I have a love-hate relationship with gear discussions. My gear tech, we wants all the stuff, but obviously I can't afford. But that's why, and I know you joined late, but that's why what I'm talking about today is not necessarily specific pieces of gear and more trends, because that's really what I took away, and maybe it's what I was looking for more so, but it's really what I took away from this NAB show, which was these interesting trends through the market that are going to really impact not only 2025, but through to 2027, 28, but really make your workflows better, cheaper, easier, that I'm incredibly excited about. Audiovisual said, did you see the new OC8 switcher with SDI, HDMI, and NDI? I did not see that particular one. It's hard to see everything, even though I walk 15,000 steps every day. 13 to 15. I don't want to lie. But I did wear my watch because I was like, I want credit for this. I need credit for all of the walking around that I'm doing. But yeah, so it is hard to see everything. I did not see that particular one. I wish I would have. SDI, HDMI, and NDI. Bird Dog was doing some interesting things as well. Not a switcher, but kind of some interesting devices there. I will look it up, though, if there's anything else that you're kind of like curious about. Let me look it up right now, actually. I've heard of it. Switcher. I can't spell switcher, and Google thinks I mean sweater. Switcher. Yeah, I mean, so basically looking like a black the OC Ghost Stream Duet 8. So again, in terms of hardware switchers, I'm going to say the same thing about unless there's something unique about this particular one. I'm just looking through ISO recording. It's seeming very much like a Blackmagic. I'd have to dig into to see what the uniqueness of it is versus a Blackmagic, but it looks interesting from a hardware switcher perspective. Let's see. Yes, we do need those wheelie. I definitely saw a couple of people riding what are those, like the wheels? They look like a skateboard but have a wheel. They have a name. Definitely saw those around. Tim, were you able to see anything new from Canon? The new RV50 looks good if you have Canon glass compared to the ZV-E10. So I got a brief look at that. I did not get to dig into the details. Um, I this is the hard thing, right? Of like these shows. So again, that's something that I can kind of take a look at a little bit more deeper and reach out to see if I can and get a unit. I got a brief look at that particular one, actually on stage of my panel that I was hosting. It was I believe that was the one that was delivered. But yeah, I will see. Uh, I will dig into the details if if it's comparative to Canon. So I have kind of preferred Sony just because like they literally killed the Canon killed the M50 Mark II. So like their focus on live capable, meaning clean HDMI and all of the right ports and all of the right things. Their Sony's focus on doing it perfectly well has been amazing over the last years. Canon has not specifically stepped up to the plate there. So if they are, then I will start to pay attention for sure. Oh, nice. Yeah, I noticed the NDI. Like I noticed that was there. That's awesome. Um, one wheel. That's right. It was a one wheel. Setting up a new workspace studio in a couple of weeks. First time homeowner at age 61. Congratulations, Carter. If we can be of any service while you're setting up your workspace and your new studio in your new home, please do like hang out with us in our live streams. We have courses around that. We have done for you services, all of the things that you need. But I would love, love, love to hear more as your journey continues. Yes, one wheel. Thank you. Not a dolly, not a dolly. Oh, no wheelies in the new space. Yes. Okay, they're coming back, but it has been very problematic. Exactly. So I will check that one out. The problem with NAB Show, especially kind of being an on-camera presence, is sometimes I'll like start to get a look at something and then get totally distracted by somebody saying hi or whatever, which is totally not a problem. I love to meet people, and met a ton of viewers, which was amazing. And I love to see that. But yeah, sometimes you, even just friends or whoever, like you have a meeting, like I have a meeting like in the other hall that I have to book it out to. So there's a lot of like distraction at these shows. So I can't say I got to see everything, but I did try to see as much as possible. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, if you have Canon lenses, then that's fantastic for you. I just need I just really need to see Canon kind of step up to the plate there. But it sounds like they are. So I will revert back and kind of like backtrack a little bit and see what I can find out there. Aw, Rich, thank you so much. You're so sweet. I appreciate the support. Um, I didn't see anything that interesting with mics at the show. Again, I went in with very specific, like I could look at everything and bring back everything, but what I find most useful is really getting specific about what you guys need. And so I went in there. Lighting has been one of your biggest struggles. So that was my main focus. Again, if you weren't here at the beginning of the show, of this show, I went in with two goals. One, to build relationships with companies so that I can get you access to knowledge, to gear that makes sense for you. Two, it was about really the things that I find you struggling with the most and finding new things, new trends, new devices, new tools to fix those problems. Lighting was one of those. Audio hasn't really, there's so much on the market with audio. So that wasn't really a focus of mine at this particular show for this particular year, if that makes sense. Okay. And I would film it. No, I love meeting people at shows like this. It's one of my favorite parts of it, to be honest. So, all right, you guys. Any other questions, thoughts? So again, if you didn't like, I don't know how we're doing on the glitching. Is the glitch just random question? Is the glitching back? Like, are we still dealing with the glitching throughout this whole show? The internet is an issue here. It has been causing more problems than even just this glitching. So, how is it that in San Francisco, Silicon Valley, there's internet issues? How is that a thing? That's my biggest question of this show. How is that a thing? A little bit, not all the time. Okay, good to know. It was 10 years ago that I saw Lori at NAB. Amazing, Jason. Amazing. There are some glitches. Okay. Security breach. David Hunt. Did you just celebrate 53 months of membership? Thank you so very much, David. I appreciate that. All right, you guys, I hope that this has been helpful. Again, I'm really, really excited about these trends that I'm seeing that are going to actually make a difference in your toolkit. And again, I can't say everything that I saw, unfortunately, but we've got some good stuff coming down the pipeline and not that far off. So keep it, like, stay tuned to me. Like, if you're not on my email list, get on my email list. You can go to livestreamingpros.com/email me. I think it is. Callie, somebody's going to drop a link in the chat room. But if you want to pay attention, if you want to stay up to date on these new things coming down the pipeline, one, subscribe, hit the bell notification, turn on all notifications here on this channel, because I know that I haven't been publishing often in the last several months. We've been working really hard on the back end stuff, but stuff is about to boom, boom, boom. I don't have a word for that, but get on the email list, pay attention to this channel. There is going to be a lot more and a lot of very interesting stuff to come. Thank you for being your eyes at the show. Very much appreciated. Absolutely. Oh, I was there when you were doing the Mevo streaming. I'm sure I have some photo and videos. Yes. How fun was that? That was a crazy technical stream. That was amazing. How can I have two cameras to stream? Two Elgato cards? It's for PC. So for PC, you can have internal capture cards. That's the way I would go with a PC, is having an internal capture card that has multiple inputs. So Elgato does have an internal capture card for PC that you can use for this purpose. And so you can get one that has like 4 inputs. So that's going to be your best, easiest solution. So you don't need external capture cards on a PC. You can just build that in. Now, I mean, I'm talking desktop PC. Thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. But yeah, so that's the way I would go with that. Hopefully that answers your question. All right, you guys, we're going to put our dancing shoes. Oh. Sorry. One last thing. Don't go anywhere. But you know how much I love Epidemic Sound? I got to meet the co-founder of Epidemic Sound, an amazing human being. And I'm looking forward to doing more around Epidemic. But yeah, so they also have some cool stuff coming down the pipeline. Can't talk about soon. All of this stuff, because they tell me stuff that I can't talk about, which is part of my job, to get early eyes on it, to give feedback, all of that stuff. But I'm very excited about some of the stuff coming from a gear, software perspective, services like Epidemic. But yeah, he was a cool guy. I really enjoyed meeting him. Yeah, I think we might have some more around that side. But the point being, I'm using Epidemic Sound in the credits that are coming up next. So we're going to put our dancing shoes on. We're going to dance this baby out together and thank our YouTube members for being a part of this community and making it the best community on the internet. I appreciate each and every one of you. I can't wait to see more of you and bring all of this to life for you here in 2025. Okay, dancing shoes on. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.